Some men inspire fear with power, others with cruelty. But Wang Lin inspired something far worse, the quiet certainty that anyone who harmed his friends would not be allowed to live. If you enjoy my way of explaining and storytelling, don't forget to like and subscribe. It really motivates me to keep creating. As he resisted the black cloud, Wang Lin was forced backward again and again as it continued to contract. The cycle repeated relentlessly until the dark mass finally began to show signs of collapse. Wang Lin's eyes turned icy as he opened his mouth and spat out a stream of origin energy. The origin energy entered the black cloud, and at once it felt as though boundless power had filled it. The cloud contracted wildly, tightening with terrifying force. Yet at that very moment, the resistance emanating from the blood ancestor surged endlessly in response. Explosions erupted from within the cloud. The black mass trembled violently and began to collapse. The blood ancestor's muffled roar echoed from inside, rumbling like thunder in Wang Lin's ears. "You brat Wang Lin, you are not qualified to seal this old man," the blood ancestor roared. The dense black clouds collapsed further. They had grown thin, so thin they seemed on the verge of vanishing entirely. Once the clouds disappeared, the 1 billion soul flag would be destroyed. Wang Lin shouted, "3 primary souls appear." Inside the cloud, the 3 primary souls, including the Qilin and the 4th soul, instantly condensed and launched their assault upon the blood ancestor. Through the shifting clouds, Wang Lin saw the Qilin transform into black smoke and coil around the blood ancestor. Its head took shape jaws snapping shut around the blood ancestor's neck. The 4th soul darted constantly in and out of the blood ancestor's body. Each time it pierced the blood ancestor's origin soul, it withdrew carrying a large amount of origin energy. Meanwhile, the final primary soul, the human-shaped figure, dissolved into black gas that wrapped tightly around the blood ancestor, slowing his movements. A savage expression appeared on the blood ancestor's face. Crimson light flashed from his body as he began chanting an intricate incantation. The red glow surged wildly outward, filling the black clouds until their color deepened into a dark purple. A thunderous roar burst from his mouth. Blood soul collapse. The red light around him became almost demonic. His origin soul suddenly unleashed unimaginable power. The Qilin immediately let out a miserable cry. The shock of that power caused its body to rapidly dissipate. Terrified, it released its bite and retreated at once. The primary soul surrounding the blood ancestor collapsed and fled as well. Even the 4th soul that had pierced the blood ancestor's origin soul was seized by him. With a merciless squeeze, cracks spread across it before it shattered and retreated. Little brat Wang Lin. The blood ancestor's eyes were bloodshot as his hand tore open the black clouds before him. From beginning to end, Wang Lin's expression remained calm. Just as the blood ancestor was about to step out, Wang Lin opened his mouth and spat out a streak of yellow light. Within that light was a single grain of sand. The moment the grain of sand appeared, an overwhelming pressure instantly blanketed the surroundings. In the blink of an eye, the grain expanded until it spanned more than 1,000 feet. It resembled a mountain, yet even more it looked like a colossal seal. This object had been forged from a celestial fragment and refined within a furnace formed by the heavens themselves, tempered by divine retribution. The instant it appeared, it slammed downward toward the blood ancestor, carrying an immense surge of celestial spiritual energy. Crackling sounds erupted from within the blood ancestor's body. The crimson light surrounding him weakened, and the step he had taken to emerge was forced back. The massive seal descended from the sky. The blood ancestor charged forward in defiance, but after a thunderous series of rumbles, he was crushed beneath the stamp. When the seal lifted once more, the blood ancestor appeared weaker, but his ferocity remained. Crimson light still flickered wildly around him. At that moment, the Karma whip suddenly appeared and lashed toward him. With a loud crack, the blood ancestor's origin soul became even more unstable. Just as he prepared to retaliate, the seal smashed down again. His origin soul teetered on the brink of collapse. The blood ancestor let out a bitter laugh. Madness filled his eyes. At that very moment, Wang Lin's cold voice rang out. "Blood ancestor, I will not kill you. I will give you a chance to see Yao Shixue again. But if you choose to explode, you will never see her again." The blood ancestor fell silent. The madness in his eyes gradually faded as he pondered. Wang Lin's eyes lit up. Forming a hand seal, he shouted, "Collect!" The surrounding black cloud immediately surged forward, engulfing the blood ancestor. The karma whip coiled around him like a chain. The three damaged primary souls reappeared and began devouring him frantically. Above them, the giant seal hovered silently. Though it no longer pressed down, its terrifying pressure remained. Under that pressure, the black cloud contracted even faster, compressing rapidly into a small sphere before transforming once again into a 30-foot-long flag in Wang Lin's hand. The 100-foot-wide flag unfurled and underwent a drastic change. Previously, it had been nothing more than a plain black banner. Now an image appeared upon its surface. The figure of the blood ancestor was vividly depicted. The karma whip wrapped around him like shackles, while the three primary souls surrounded him ferociously. His face was filled with indignation and unwillingness. Thus the image on the soul flag was formed. Wang Lin stared silently at the 1 billion soul flag. There was no pride in his victory over the blood ancestor. Instead, a faint melancholy lingered in his heart. Defeating the blood ancestor had cost him dearly. Outwardly, he appeared calm, but the battle had been fraught with life and death danger. A single moment of carelessness would have meant death. This fight had been no less perilous than his escape from the Moongazer serpent. In fact, it had been even more dangerous. After all, the Moongazer serpent possessed only limited intelligence. There was never any great hatred between us. Wang Lin sighed softly. If you had simply taken Yao Shixue away, things would never have ended like this. Unless he had been driven to absolute desperation, Wang Lin would never have forced the blood ancestor into such a corner. He had been left with no choice. If he wanted to live, he had to resist. If he wished to continue existing, he had to kill the blood ancestor who had sworn to destroy him. Yao Shixue was the blood ancestor's weakness. To seal him, Wang Lin had no choice but to exploit it. In the face of survival, there was no such thing as despicable. Looking at the soul flag, Wang Lin spoke quietly. "Blood ancestor, I respect your love as a father. I also have a son. If someone dared harm my child, I understand your anger. But did you ever give me a chance to explain? I never once touched your daughter while she was in my custody. If she hadn't plotted against me, why would I dare provoke the blood ancestor?" He knew the blood ancestor could hear him. "Is your daughter allowed to plot against me, yet I am not allowed to retaliate? You love your daughter so much that you no longer care about right or wrong, about cause or consequence. That may be love, but it is spoiled love. I gave you a chance. Yet senior blood ancestor only wished to kill me. In my eyes, your actions are no different from Yao Shixue's." Wang Lin looked into the distant void. "I understood what it meant to be a father 1,000 years ago. Yet even now, you still do not." He put the flag away without caring whether the blood ancestor truly understood. All that mattered was that his conscience remained clear. That was enough. Raising his right hand, Wang Lin pressed it against the celestial fragment. A flash of yellow light appeared as it shrank back to the size of a grain of sand before he swallowed it once more. He brushed off his robes as if sweeping away the gloom of the past few days. Then his body turned into a streak of light as he flew into the distance. "I must grow stronger in the Thunder Celestial realm. My spells are still far too lacking. Before, my cultivation was too low to contend for celestial spells. But now, with my current strength, I am qualified to participate in the battles for celestial caves. My goal is a celestial spell. Wanna, don't worry. I will definitely go to planet Donglin. If there is even the faintest hope of awakening you, I, Wang Lin, will fight for it with everything I have." Wang Lin pressed his right hand between his eyebrows. His increased cultivation had filled him with greater confidence in reviving Li Muan. Aside from escaping those ancient monsters, the other reason he had come to the All-Heaven Star System was to revive her. Thinking of Li Muan, Wang Lin continued stepping through the void. His destination was the fragment ahead. From this moment onward, there would be one more formidable figure competing for treasures within the Thunder Celestial realm, Wang Lin. Tren man dien touch fia truok Wang Lin kwok, jiao toat kuali Yuan jagan ji jen hoi ket. His body was like a lamp that had run out of oil. If it were not for the people behind him deliberately toying with him, he would already be dead. What humiliated him even more was that the man chasing him was using him as a living target to practice various spells. The elder beside the young man radiated a ruthless aura. From time to time he offered guidance to the youth, and each time he did, Li Yuan suffered even more. Of the 8 flying swords he once possessed, only 3 remained. The rest had been lost while he attempted to fight back with spells. The old man had casually caught those swords, wiped away Li Yuan's divine sense, and tossed them to the young man. Soon after, the youth gifted them to the woman beside him. Indignation burned in Li Yuan's heart. The woman's crisp laughter and coquettish voice only deepened his humiliation. Along the way, his injuries had grown increasingly severe. He had no time to heal. His right arm had begun to rot white insects, writhing within his flesh. These were not maggots. They were poisonous insects released by the youth behind him. Li Yuan felt as though those white insects had spread throughout his entire body, even into his origin soul. It was as if his body had become a breeding ground for them. His speed slowed more and more. Fatigue consumed him, and the aura of death clung to his body. His face was no longer pale. Instead, it had turned a sickly shade of red. Behind him, the old man withdrew his gaze and said calmly, "Young master, this man has exhausted all his energy." The youth faintly smiled. "He'll be dead soon. Still, this one is rather impressive to have lasted 13 days. The cultivators before him only managed 8. He tilted his head lazily. "Ugly uncle, next time, catch me an illusory yin cultivator. I'd like to play a little longer. That way my octo-soul worms can mature faster." The old man's expression did not change. Understood. It was only a single word, yet it carried absolute confidence. Beside the youth, the pretty girl blinked and smiled sweetly. "Cousin, how many swords does that person still have?" The youth laughed, pulling her slender waist into his embrace. "Forget it. These 9 swords are all yours." His tone grew even more arrogant. "Not just these 9 swords. There's nothing in the Thunder Celestial realm that I cannot obtain if I wanted. Once we find the origin of these swords within his origin soul, we can pay that place a visit." The woman smiled, her eyes shimmering with charm. "Of course. Cousin is from the Yao family. Naturally, there is nothing you cannot do." The youth's pride deepened. The name Yao family was one even the Thunder Celestial Temple treated with respect. As a member of that family, what he said was no exaggeration. As long as he set his eyes on something, there was nothing he could not obtain. At that moment within the void, Wang Lin saw the fragment ahead of him. His body flickered. In an instant, he appeared above the fragment. "I wonder where Brother Li is." His divine sense spread out subconsciously. But in the next moment, his expression darkened. A killing intent, no less terrifying than the one he had unleashed against the blood ancestor, suddenly erupted once. Again, there was almost no focus left in Li Yuan's eyes. His life force was fading rapidly. About to die, so be it. Death might even be a relief. He smiled bitterly. "It's just, I won't be able to teach Brother Shu the restriction heart." He could no longer see clearly. Several white insects squirmed within his pupils. Strangely enough, he felt no pain. "Even if I die," Li Yuan's eyes suddenly regained a trace of focus. "As a member of the Li family, I must die with dignity." His gaze sharpened. Turning around, he stared at the 3 people chasing him so casually. Hatred burned fiercely within his eyes. "I have no grievance with the 3 of you. If you wanted my magical treasures, you could have taken them. But instead, you toyed with me like this." His voice trembled with rage. "When I die, I will become a vengeful ghost and repay this hatred." Li Yuan slapped his bag of holding. The remaining 3 swords shot out, instantly releasing fierce sword energy. With a flick of his finger, the 3 swords shot straight toward the youth. Impudent. The youth sneered coldly. He extended his right hand, and a massive blood-red hand instantly formed before him. With a single grasp, he caught all three flying swords. Li Yuan's expression turned savage. At the moment the youth seized the swords, Li Yuan's right hand formed a seal and pressed between his brows. A beam of black light as thick as an arm burst out from his forehead. The black light split into countless strands. His hands moved rapidly, forming seals. In the blink of an eye, the strands formed restrictions. The moment these restrictions appeared, they split into 18. In an instant, the 18 restrictions surrounded Li Yuan. He coughed violently, spitting out a mouthful of blood onto the restrictions. But within that blood, countless white insects writhed. The sight was horrifying. After absorbing his blood, the restrictions shot toward the youth like lightning. They were incredibly fast. Within moments they descended upon him. At that instant, the youth had only just managed to stabilize the three captured swords. Yet when he saw the restrictions descending from the sky, he did not panic. He merely snorted with disdain. His eyes were filled with contempt. The old man beside him stepped forward. Raising his right hand, dense origin energy instantly filled the surroundings. "Break." He spoke only a single word. Instantly, origin energy engulfed the restrictions. They shattered. Yet after exploding, they did not disappear. Instead, they reverted into countless black threads. Those threads condensed rapidly, forming a single black line that shot straight toward the old man with destructive force. The old man slapped his bag of holding. An ancient mirror appeared in his hand. He pointed the mirror toward the black line. A flash erupted. It was as though the entire world suddenly dimmed. All light condensed toward the ancient mirror. The black line instantly collapsed. Li Yuan's body trembled violently. He coughed out another mouthful of blood. Death aura filled his body. "It's not that my Li family's restrictions are weak," he muttered weakly. "It's because I exhausted too much of my restriction heart helping Brother Shu. I never had the time to recover it." Afterward, he laughed bitterly. "Otherwise, how could this broken mirror stop my restrictions? But Brother Shu helped my Li family greatly, so I have no regrets. If I die, then I die." Li Yuan let out a miserable smile. At that moment, the old man stepped forward. Without even looking, he kicked. A cracking sound echoed. Li Yuan coughed out a large mouthful of blood as his body was sent crashing to the ground. His eyes dimmed. That kick had scattered the last remnants of celestial spiritual energy within his body. He no longer had any ability to resist. The old man stepped back calmly. "Junior Master, this person is no longer a threat. You may attack now." His face remained cold. There was not the slightest shame in attacking a mere ascendant junior, despite being an illusory yin cultivator. The youth had only barely managed to secure the three flying swords. That was only because Li Yuan's connection with them had been severed. He handed the swords casually to the woman beside him. Then he stepped forward with a sneer. "Let me see where you obtained these celestial swords." He raised his right hand and pressed it toward Li Yuan's head. "Hurry up, cousin." The woman smiled sweetly as she watched. Her eyes were filled with seductive charm as she played with the celestial sword in her hand. The old man stood quietly beside them, his expression calm as ever. But at that moment, just as the youth's hand descended toward Li Yuan, a ripple suddenly appeared beside him. The old man's expression changed drastically. He rushed forward and shouted loudly, "Young master, retreat." The youth was startled. In the next instant, an unimaginable killing intent burst forth from within the ripple. The killing intent was so overwhelming that the entire world seemed to freeze. Even frost began falling from the sky. The youth's face turned deathly pale. Before he could even search Li Yuan's soul, he retreated immediately. But it was already too late. A figure stepped out from the ripple. The moment that figure appeared, the killing intent reached its absolute peak. Thunder rumbled across the heavens. As the youth retreated, the figure stepped forward. A single finger pointed toward the youth's chest. Cracking sounds echoed. The youth coughed out blood as every bone in his body shattered instantly. His body was thrown violently away, but the figure followed. The finger landed between the youth's brows. Rich origin energy surged into his body. In an instant, all celestial spiritual energy within him collapsed. Cracking sounds rang out again. The youth's face turned completely pale. In his eyes, that finger had replaced the entire world. It had become the controller of his life and death. His body flew through the air in a long arc. Bones continued to break within his body as he spat out mouthfuls of blood that turned into a crimson mist. The origin energy raging within him surged wildly. First, it destroyed his celestial spiritual energy. Then, it shattered his cultivation base. Finally, it forced every drop of blood from his body out through his pores. At that moment, he looked like a figure made entirely of blood suspended in mid-air. A dense blood mist surrounded him. The origin energy did not stop. It continued raging within him. Every muscle in his body was destroyed inch by inch. His internal organs were crushed instantly. Still, it did not end. The origin energy was far too terrifying. After destroying his organs, it surged upward toward his head. His skull collapsed. His brain was crushed. At that very instant, the youth surnamed Yao's flesh body completely disintegrated. Before he had even reached the peak of his arc in the air, his body collapsed entirely. It shattered. It dissolved. It vanished. His origin soul appeared filled with confusion and unimaginable terror. It even wanted to cry. But the moment it appeared, the origin energy exploded. The origin soul was torn apart instantly. Yet it did not dissipate. Instead, the origin energy rapidly condensed it into a fist-sized sphere of light. The sphere flew into Wang Lin's hand. Without hesitation, Wang Lin pressed it between Li Yuan's brows, nourishing his nearly dissipated origin soul. Then Wang Lin spoke. His voice was colder than ice. "Who gave you the qualifications to hurt my friend?" Everything had happened in a single instant. So fast it was almost impossible to follow. The old man had just stepped forward, yet before he could even reach them, it was already over. Cold sweat formed on his forehead. His calmness had vanished. His indifference had shattered completely. His eyes were filled with horror, and even fear. He had not been able to clearly see the opponent at all, especially the dense origin energy that had emerged from the ripple. It made him suck in a breath of cold air. What frightened him even more was the aura surrounding that young man. His presence seemed perfectly fused with the world itself. Too terrifying. I know every corporeal Yang cultivator. But who is he? His face was pale. Sweat dripped down his forehead. The killing intent emanating from the other party shook his mind violently. He subconsciously stepped back several paces. For a moment, he even felt the urge to flee immediately. Not far away, the woman was completely stunned. The scene before her had left her mind blank. On the ground, Li Yuan struggled to speak. His eyes shone with excitement. "Shu, brother Shu, help me. Kill them." Li Yuan's voice carried piercing hatred. If that hatred could have taken form, it would have burst forth immediately, venting the fury he had endured over the past days. Wang Lin nodded. His gaze swept past the illusory yin old man and settled upon the dumbfounded woman. In her hands were Li Yuan's celestial swords. He did not waste even a breath speaking. Taking a single step, he crossed several hundred feet in an instant and appeared before her. The woman had only just recovered from her shock. She had witnessed with her own eyes how the Yao youth's body collapsed from a single finger of this man. Even now, the dreadful cracking sounds from the youth's body still echoed in her ears. With only one finger, he had caused the youth's origin soul to collapse. The origin soul had been seized, its consciousness erased until it was nothing more than a shapeless mass of origin energy. The scene had completely shattered her composure. Terror flooded her mind. When she saw Wang Lin approaching, panic consumed her instantly. A hysterical scream burst from her lips. In her eyes, Wang Lin was no longer human. He was a demon, a terrifying demon that devoured souls. Almost instinctively, she retreated, not even a trace of resistance crossing her mind. The only thought remaining in her head was, escape, escape, escape. Since childhood, she had never felt such overwhelming fear. The terror did not merely shake her mind, it carved a deep crack into her Tao heart. Even if she were fortunate enough to escape today, her cultivation would fall drastically, and the possibility of ever advancing again would be almost non-existent. Wang Lin's expression remained cold, his gaze chilling as he advanced. In his eyes, the woman's speed was unbearably slow. At that moment, the illusory yin old man's eyes flashed, yet he made no attempt to save her. Instead, he immediately retreated. As Wang Lin's finger pressed between the woman's brows, her pupils shrank violently and her terror reached its peak. Origin energy surged into her body. She was not thrown backward. Instead, her body trembled violently as she froze in place. Soft popping sounds began to echo from within her body. She recognized the sound instantly. It was exactly the same sound that had come from the Yao youth's body moments ago. Her origin soul condensed into a sphere of light and flew out from between her brows. Wang Lin caught it in his hand. Without hesitation, he tossed it toward Li Yuan. The origin energy within the sphere nourished Li Yuan's origin soul, allowing his injuries to recover slightly. Meanwhile, the woman's body collapsed entirely and disappeared. Even in her final moment, she could not understand one thing. Why had the person they were chasing never mentioned that he had a friend like this within the Thunder Celestial realm? As her body dissipated, the flying swords and bags of holding fell to the ground. Wang Lin lifted his head and looked toward the rapidly fleeing old man. A cold sneer appeared on his face. He took a step forward and vanished. His body fused with the world itself. The illusory yin old man's mind had already been shaken to its core by Wang Lin's sudden appearance. He knew he had no chance of victory. Thus he fled with all his strength. But just then, a ripple appeared directly before him. Powerful origin energy surged from within it, forcing him to halt abruptly. Wang Lin stepped out from the ripple. "You're next." His voice was icy. The moment he appeared, he raised his right hand. A bolt of purple thunder manifested instantly. As the thunderbolt appeared, a purple mist spread throughout the surroundings. Lightning danced wildly within the mist before rapidly gathering onto the thunderbolt. The bolt was as thick as an arm. In the next instant, it shot toward the old man. The old man's expression changed drastically as he retreated frantically. His hands formed seals rapidly. Immediately, a crimson flame burst forth from his body. The flame burned with terrifying heat and spread rapidly around him, forming a protective shield of fire. The thunderbolt descended. It struck the flame shield directly. Crackling sounds exploded through the air. The shield collapsed instantly. The thunderbolt slammed into the old man's body. He coughed up a large mouthful of blood, his face turning pale. As he staggered backward in retreat, panic surged through him. His scalp tingled as terror reached its limit. "Senior, please allow me to speak." Wang Lin stepped forward coldly. "How long did you chase my friend?" The old man retreated rapidly. 13 days. "Senior, this matter was entirely the fault of the young master of the Yao family. I tried to persuade him, but our statuses are different. I had no authority to stop him." He was utterly terrified of Wang Lin. A corporeal yang cultivator was not someone he could resist, especially when he himself was only one step away from that realm. 13 days. Killing intent surged within Wang Lin's eyes. In the blink of an eye, he overtook the old man. His 2 fingers formed a sword as he pointed toward the old man's left arm. The old man's expression changed. Just as he was about to dodge, Wang Lin spoke a single word. "Stop." The word was like the voice of a demon. The moment it entered the old man's ears, an unimaginable surge of origin energy enveloped him. His entire body froze instantly. He could not move even an inch. Even his origin soul felt as if it was submerged in water, its movements slowed drastically. "This is the first day." Wang Lin's finger landed on the old man's left arm. With a burst of origin energy, bang, the arm exploded. The violent energy surged again, shattering the limb completely. The old man's face twisted as he struggled desperately, but he could not move even the slightest bit. The second day, Wang Lin's finger moved again, this time pointing to the old man's left leg. Origin energy surged in. More than half of the leg exploded instantly. The old man's veins bulged violently. A ferocious expression appeared on his face, but behind that ferocity was pure terror. Fear of Wang Lin had already overwhelmed his mind. The third day, Wang Lin lifted his foot and stepped down on the old man's right leg. Bang! The leg collapsed completely. Of his 4 limbs, 3 had already been destroyed. The old man let out a miserable cry. The pain nearly drowned him. The stimulation of that agony allowed his origin soul to stir slightly. Origin energy began circulating within his body, showing faint signs of recovery. But Wang Lin moved again. His finger pointed toward the old man's final remaining limb. Origin energy surged in, and the arm disintegrated instantly. This is the 4th day, yet it was not over. The stop spell began to weaken. The old man was about to regain movement. Just as origin energy filled his body and he prepared to flee, Wang Lin's cold voice rang out again. "Stop!" The old man cried out miserably. That voice was the sound of death itself. If he had known things would end like this, he would never have dared lay a finger on Li Yuan. His mind fell into a haze. He vaguely recalled the words Wang Lin had spoken earlier. "Who gave you the qualification to hurt my friend?" Those words echoed in his mind like thunder. After being frozen for the second time, Wang Lin stood before him. His finger moved rapidly, striking multiple points on the old man's body. Blood flowed from the corners of the old man's mouth. The 5th day, the 6th day, the 7th day. By the end, the old man's chest had become a bloody ruin. Every bone in his body was shattered. Blood mist poured from the gaping wounds. All vitality had left his body. This is the last day. Wang Lin's hand turned into a palm and pressed mercilessly against the old man's forehead. A crisp cracking sound rang out. The old man's body collapsed entirely, dissolving into a cloud of blood mist. His origin soul burst out, trembling violently in the air. "The Yao family will not let you go," it screamed. Wang Lin's eyes remained cold. With a thought, he slapped his bag of holding. The 1 billion soul flag appeared. With a shake, the flag unfurled. Upon it was the unwilling image of the blood ancestor. Wang Lin asked calmly, "Do you recognize him?" The old man's origin soul was startled. After looking carefully, his eyes widened in horror. Although he did not know who the figure was, the resemblance to the Yao family ancestor was nearly 70%. Even before the old man could answer, Wang Lin already understood from his expression. He stepped forward. Origin energy sealed the surroundings, instantly locking the old man's origin soul in place. Wang Lin reached out. The origin soul was dragged back helplessly. His eyes turned cold. He performed a soul search. Under the pressure of Wang Lin's immense origin energy, the old man could not resist at all. Moments later, a strange light flashed in Wang Lin's eyes. He erased the old man's consciousness, compressing the origin soul into a pure sphere of origin energy. Wang Lin descended beside Li Yuan. Holding the sphere, he pressed it between Li Yuan's brows. "Brother Li," Wang Lin said quietly, "I will give you an opportunity. Whether you can reach the illusory yin stage or not will depend on yourself." His eyes shone brightly. He placed his palm upon Li Yuan's chest. "Gather." With a thunderous shout, countless tiny white insects were instantly dragged out of Li Yuan's body. The insects were hideous and emitted a foul stench. Wang Lin's expression remained calm. With a simple pinch, the insects exploded one by one.